What's up, guys? Chase Oliver here, bringing you my WWE Money in the Bank power rankings for that damn briefcase. If you guys haven't seen it already, go check out my WWE Heavyweight Championship power rankings. It's kind of a little bit dated because I didn't know that WWE would add Kane to their match. Yes, they added Demon Kane all of a sudden. It's gotta be Kane! But, you know what? Still go check it out. I think it's a good video, and I would love the support on it. But here is the power rankings for the briefcase match. You know, the Money in the Bank briefcase where all the superstars are going to be climbing to the top four. So, hope you guys enjoy this. Let's get started with number 7. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett goes down to number 7. Bad news, Barrett. I apologize. Suffered a shoulder injury on the SmackDown tapings, and this is actually my second taping of this video as a whole, this power rankings video. I actually have a finished product that I recently just got rid of because I filmed this on Tuesday. So like after my Q&A, I went to go film this on Tuesday because I was like, you know what, I just want to get it out of the way. I just don't want to forget about it. So I actually filmed it, and Bad News Barrett was actually ranked a lot more higher on my list. But then all of a sudden he got injured at the SmackDown tapings. I was going to upload that video on Wednesday. And then he gets injured at the SmackDown tapings, and so I'm like, wow, I'll sound like an idiot if I upload this video, because then people are going to be like, but Bad News Barrett got injured, Chase. So I'm still including Bad News Barrett in the power rankings. Originally, I had him at number 2. Now he's dropped to number 7. Obvious reasons is because he might not be in the match, and they might find a replacement for him. And who's ever replacing Bad News Barrett, I don't think they would make the replacement win the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, in my personal opinion, it sucks what happened to Bad News Barrett. I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope this shoulder injury is not serious. It will take him definitely a while to come back to WWE TV, because when it comes down to shoulder injuries, guys, you know, if you're lucky, you miss 6 weeks when it comes down to shoulder injuries. For anyone who's been an athlete or, you know, suffered a shoulder injury in your life, you know that, like, the best case scenario is 6 weeks from a hurt shoulder. So, you know what? I wish Bad News Barrett the best of luck in his recovery if he cannot make this match. If we get more reports later on today about where Bad News Barrett is in the comment section down below, I'll change my rankings around, or I'll leave annotations saying like, hey, Bad News Barrett is actually fine. You know what? This is my new power ranking. So that's what I'll do, and I'll probably address it in the Money in the Bank preview if my power rankings change at all. So there you have it. Bad News Barrett at number 7. Oh, Jackie Swags. I feel like I'm a curse. Every time I talk good about someone, all of a sudden they do something stupid, and then everyone is probably mad at them. Come on, Jack. I'm on your train. I'm on the We the People Express. Don't do this to me, man. I talk good about you, and then you do something stupid like that. Come on. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, obviously what happened to Bad News Barrett was because Jack Swagger attacked him at the SmackDown tapings and threw him into the barricade. I'm guessing Swagger threw him really, really hard, because that's the only way that shoulder could pop really, really bad. So, yeah, Jackie, come on. Get your shit together, man. Get your shit together. I am high on you. We the People Express. Don't do anything stupid in this ladder match. Don't hurt anyone else. Please. Anyways, when it comes down to Jack Swagger being number 6, I don't see a point of giving him the Money in the Bank. I don't think him winning it for a second time will help his career. I don't see anything where he fits with the current main event scene in the WWE. Now, if there was a World Heavyweight Championship loading around, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, give him the Money in the Bank. That's fine. But there is no World Heavyweight Championship loading around anymore. It's just one big, giant belt. And with the title picture and the main eventers and the people I see in the main event, I just don't see Swagger fitting that picture whatsoever. Like I said, I feel Swagger is like the best mid-carder you could have, possibly getting 1 or 2 world title matches just for a short filler feud. That's pretty much it when it comes down to Jack Swagger as a whole for me. So that's why he's number 6. Originally, he was number 7. But, hey, you know what? Shit happens because Jack Swagger likes to injure people. Please, Jackie Swag, stop doing stupid stuff. Please stop doing stupid stuff. Remember, I am high on you. Don't do anything more stupid. Please and thank you. Number 5 for me is Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam, I think, has a better chance of winning than most people think he would. I think a lot of people are looking at RVD just kind of being in this match to do like a 5-star frog splash off the ladder, which I think he's going to do. I don't know who he's going to do it on, but I see him doing that kind of spot. you know, he's going to be exciting in this match, so it's kind of good we have RVD in this match. But when it comes down to it, if he won the briefcase, I can see what WWE's kind of thinking. You know, RVD is still kind of a big draw for them. I don't know, really. I don't really feel he's a big draw, but the WWE could see some interest of maybe an RVD and Brock Lesnar feud down the line because, you know, the relationship of Paul Heyman, all that other junk. RVD, though, winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, like I said, it could just set up maybe for RVD. He's a safe option. You know, you're not really hurting him if he cashes in and fails against the Brock Lesnar. You know, you're really, you know, he's at the point in his career, he doesn't really need another world title. Maybe if you just want one big money match and you feel that, you know, RVD and Brock Lesnar in a hardcore type setting match would be a fun match to watch. Or maybe if you want RVD to win the belt to put over a younger guy because you don't want to hurt John Cena or Daniel Bryan, he could very well be that plot piece there, you know, a younger heel for the company instead of, you know, sacrificing John Cena and Daniel Bryan to do that. You use an RVD instead. I don't think RVD is going to win this briefcase. I'm just throwing hypotheticals out there of what you could do with RVD if he did win the championship or if he did win the Money in the Bank. But he wouldn't be that bad of an option for the WWE. I'm not saying he should win it. And honestly, if he does win it, I wouldn't fucking care. But RVD, not really that bad of an option. That's why I have him at number 5. Number 4, the psychotic Dean Ambrose. Yes, I have Dean Ambrose a little bit low. And you know, what I'm going to say about Dean is going to be very similar to what I'm going to say about Seth Rollins in this match. So instead of saving you the pleasures of explaining stuff about Dean and Seth in this match, I'm going to, you know, talk about that when I get into Seth Rollins' profile, when I get to him. But what I will talk about is Dean Ambrose. I don't think he needs the Money in the Bank whatsoever. I think if he does win it, it's just kind of like whatever. He's on a push. He's on a separate rivalry with Seth Rollins. I don't think he needs it whatsoever. He's a guy that I can see next year winning the championship without needing the Money in the Bank. That's the thing. That's what I see in Dean Ambrose. I can see him winning a championship next year without needing the Money in the Bank. I don't think he's a guy that needs it the most. I feel like his career is on a good path right now. That's why I'm not putting Dean Ambrose really, really high. If he wins it, it would be kind of cool, and I'll be kind of interested in what they're going to do. But in all honesty, if he wins it, I just think it would just be a nice little plot piece for him and Seth Rollins to feud down the line. And that's just my honest opinion. I don't hate Ambrose or anything. I just don't think that, you know, the WWE should put it on him. He doesn't need it. He's not one of those guys that really need the briefcase to get over. He's good to have in the Money in the Bank match because he is a featured, he's going to become a featured attraction name. It's a good match to, you know, show how tough Dean Ambrose is. It's a good match to show how crazy it is. It's a good match to show off some spots that he can do with the ladder. It's good for Dean Ambrose to show a hardcore side of him to be in a type of match like that. But other than that, I don't really see him winning this briefcase. If he does win it, like I said, it'll just be an interesting plot point in him versus Seth Rollins. But at the end of the day, it will just be whatever. I'll be happy for him because it shows that the WWE's high on him. But at the same time, I don't think he needs the briefcase to succeed in the future. If you heard what I said about Dean Ambrose, then number 3, Seth Rollins, is going to be kind of similar. Pretty much a lot of the points that I said about Dean Ambrose where I felt like he doesn't need it, I don't think that applies to Seth Rollins. But what I'm talking about is, you know, Seth right now is on a push. He's feuding with Dean Ambrose. If anything, adding the Money in the Bank would just add more sweetener to their feud that they have going right now. The only reason why I think the WWE would probably give the briefcase to Seth Rollins is because, unlike Dean Ambrose, I don't see next year, you know, Seth Rollins taking a huge leap and becoming a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You know, it all depends on how the WWE books him as a heel first. But ultimately, you know, down the line, I just don't see Seth being that guy that wins the WWE Heavyweight title around this time next year. I don't see him in that title picture whatsoever. Nothing against Seth. I just don't know how the WWE is going to execute him by next year. So when it comes down to it, if you were looking at a guy in this match that you kind of want to have a cheap cash in, and you kind of want to do something different with him, Seth Rollins does make a lot of sense to give the Money in the Bank briefcase to. I felt that he's a superstar that really does need the Money in the Bank contract. So for me personally, I could understand why if the WWE goes to Seth Rollins' route. I really don't think Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose feud need the Money in the Bank to be a little bit enticing. That's just my personal opinion. I think the feud itself, with all the history of the Shield, can go out well. And in all honesty, I think Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are going to take each other out of this match. I think like a big holy shit spot will happen where, like, you know, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins are, like, battling off the stage and they fall into, like, the pyrotechnic thing and they're both out of the match. I really think they're going to write Seth and Dean Ambrose out of the match, like, you know, have Dean do something crazy to Seth, kind of like what Jeff Hardy did to Edge at WrestleMania 23. I think they're going to do something like along those lines to show that Dean Ambrose is out there to destroy Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins is mad because Dean cost him the opportunity of the Money in the Bank, you know, becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. So, in all honesty here, for Seth and Dean, it's kind of like the same talking points, but they are favorites to win this Money in the Bank briefcase, but I don't necessarily think they should win it. I don't necessarily think the WWE is thinking of those two to win it, because in all honesty, I can see why they would give it to Seth, because like I said earlier, he may not be a guy by this time next year that's in the WWE heavyweight title scene, and they may need the briefcase to help him get over that hump. But at the same time, I don't think at the end of the day, it will be a big loss if Seth Rollins does not win this ladder match. Now, when it comes to number 2, I know a lot of people are going to shit on me for number 2, call me an idiot and all that other crap, but let me just say this. Respect my opinion. I respect a lot of people's opinions on here. I may not agree with some of the stuff you say, but I do respect them, because at least you're putting your mind out there and at least you are giving good reasons why you believe certain things in professional wrestling. I may disagree with some points, but I do respect when people show their opinions on here. So this is my opinion. Why this person is number 2. Because I feel like the WWE loves to give surprises. I feel this would be a good surprise. And I feel a lot of fans wouldn't mind if he won the Money in the Bank. Number 2, Kofi Kingston. You know, originally Bad News Barrett was number 2. Kofi Kingston was 3. My list just moved up by 1 spot, and I put Bad News Barrett at 7 because if he can't wrestle, it's replacement wrestler, and replacement wrestler ain't winning. But Kofi Kingston, I put him at number 2 because he feels like the traditional Money in the Bank winners, that where the WWE likes to surprise us with some random person. And especially with, you know, the WWE Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank, you know, being really fucking predictable. We all know this. Like, there's one Money in the Bank that's not predictable. There's one Money in the Bank that's super predictable. And then there's one Money in the Bank where it's really, really unpredictable. Ever since they've had the Money in the Bank concept. Well, actually, I think 2010 was the more unpredictable years for the Money in the Bank. But you get what I'm saying. With the WWE Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank kind of being very predictable, we look at, you know, the WWE Money in the Bank, the actual briefcase match, it's very unpredictable of who's going to win. And Kofi Kingston fits the mold of kind of surprising us. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, they never choose unpredictable winners in the Money in the Bank. Oh, really? WrestleMania 24, CM Punk won that match. Originally, Jeff Hardy was supposed to win that match before he got fucking high, but CM Punk won that match at WrestleMania 24. Yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking Chris Jericho was going to win. I think a lot of people had MVP maybe winning that match, or even Mr. Kennedy going back-to-back. WrestleMania 25, I don't think CM Punk was even a favorite in that match. I think a lot of people looked at Christian as a huge favorite in that match. WrestleMania 26, Jack Swagger fucking won at WrestleMania 26. I think a lot of people had Christian, Evan Bourne, you know, MVP, Shelton Benjamin ranked higher than Jack Swagger to win that match. We look at Money in the Bank 2010, the first Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Kane won the SmackDown Money in the Bank, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys would agree. When you were watching SmackDown back then, I think a lot of you guys thought Drew McIntyre or Big Show was going to win that Money in the Bank ladder match because they were making a big deal about Big Show and his stupid-ass big ladder, and they were making a big deal about Drew McIntyre because he just lost the IC title to Kofi. They were trying to find a way to get Drew McIntyre over as a main eventer, and they had that one spot in the match, if you guys remember that match, where everyone was laid out, and Drew McIntyre, after getting boom dropped by Kofi Kingston on the announce table, looked like he was going to steal this match. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought Drew McIntyre or Big Show was going to win, not freaking Kane. And then we look at, you know, the Raw Money in the Bank, Randy Orton, Edge, and Chris Jericho. I'm pretty sure a lot of people looked at them and maybe even Evan Bourne as a surprise guy. But they gave it to The Miz instead. SmackDown 2011 Money in the Bank. They gave it to Daniel Bryan when a bunch of people on here, and even myself, in 2011, that's when I first started doing the YouTube videos, a lot of people were choosing Cody Rhodes, Wade Barrett, Sheamus. No one was choosing Daniel Bryan. Not even your boy, the Lex Man, chose Daniel Bryan in that match. Go watch the Lex Man's Money in the Bank preview from 2011. I think he chose Wade Barrett and Cody Rhodes. Daniel Bryan was not a favorite to win that match, and motherfucking Daniel Bryan won that match. I can keep on going on about random winners and Money in the Bank, but you get the point. The WWE likes to give us random winners sometimes. And when it comes down to Kofi Kingston, I feel like after all the hard work he's done in the Royal Rumbles and the Battle Royals and all the other ladder matches where he's trying to do all these crazy spots, I know a lot of you guys just view him as a spot monkey in this match, but I view him as a heavy favorite in this match. I would mark out if Kofi Kingston won. I think it would be a nice sign of respect, and you could do something with Kofi Kingston as Mr. Money in the Bank. Maybe you could have Kofi Kingston face off against a Brock Lesnar and look valiant in defeat. Maybe you could have Kofi Kingston turn heel and cash in dirty and have him, develop a character. Maybe you could do all this stuff with Kofi Kingston to help him out in his career. And also, Kofi Kingston fits the perfect build. When you look at all the other Money in the Bank participants, Bad News Barrett, if he's healthy, I'm pretty sure him and Ziggler are going to feud for the IC title. Dean and Seth, feuding. Jack Swagger, he's probably going to face Rusev. RVD, he's going to face someone in the money match. That's it. You look at the list of guys, they're all kind of taking Kofi Kingston. What is he doing? What happens when he loses this Money in the Bank? Oh, yeah, he's going to go back to jobbing to Bo Dallas. See, for me, Kofi Kingston, if you want to do something with the superstar in this match, this is the time. This is the guy. This could be our surprise guy, and I think a lot of you guys would be fine with it. I'm not sure a lot of you guys will because obviously there's someone more popular in this match than Kofi Kingston, which I totally understand. But what I'm saying is Kofi freaking Kingston. Give the guy a chance. Give the guy the opportunity. That's all I got to say about it. Kofi Kingston is my number 2. Originally number 3. Got bumped up to number 2 because of Bad News Barrett's injury. But just remember, guys, respect my opinion. I laid out my points on there. Why I have Kofi Kingston ranked so high. He just fits the perfect mold of someone who the WWE wants at the Money in the Bank. And like I said, there's a lot of avenues you can go with him in the cash-in route. Number 1 is to show off Dolph Ziggler. I have Dolph Ziggler ranked high in this one. And Dolph Ziggler is kind of like the case where, same with CM Punk, where CM Punk, won his first one, the first cash-in. Seemed successful at first, but it didn't really amount to anything. That's where I can see with Dolph Ziggler, where, they give him a second opportunity to Money in the Bank. And I feel like with the WWE Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank, with it written in the stars of who may win that match, and a lot of people may be upset at the thought of John Cena walking out tall, I feel the WWE might say, you know what, we got to give the fans a freaking bone here. We got to give them a guy they like. Let's give it to Dolph Ziggler. Give it to Dolph Ziggler. Have Dolph Ziggler win, the Money in the Bank briefcase. And what you could do with it is, sure, you could turn him heel, but I see this as a great opportunity to make Dolph Ziggler into a legit babyface. We always talk about what's the one match Dolph Ziggler had that shows that Dolph Ziggler is a tough guy in this wrestling industry. To me personally, I think the best match that you could have with Dolph Ziggler is a Brock Lesnar. He's a guy that will get a big babyface reaction against Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is going to get booed against the Dolph Ziggler, no questions asked. I really do feel like Dolph Ziggler and Brock Lesnar, like anytime Ziggler would hit a move in that match that looked like he could finish Lesnar, the fans would just erupt. It will be a gruesome match, and it will boost Dolph Ziggler's star status if executed correctly. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. I feel with Dolph Ziggler, like, even if he does fail a cash-in, and especially if they do it with the Brock Lesnar route, it will help his career out even more. It will build more of that underdog story, and who knows, maybe around Royal Rumble time, we get the same type of reaction for Dolph Ziggler that people got for Daniel Bryan, and maybe, plans change in Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania 31. He holds the WWE Heavyweight title. I know that's wishful thinking, and I know a lot of you people are probably surprised I'm saying all this, because if you're a fan of my channel, you know I'm not the biggest Dolph Ziggler fan in the world. And sorry, it's just my personal preference in wrestlers. But you get the idea. What I'm saying is this could help Dolph Ziggler build off this underdog character, this, struggling guy in the company right now. That's just my opinion. I know the WWE is not really high on Dolph Ziggler because of the concussion history and all that other stuff, but you never know what you have unless you go all the way with it. I think they could go all the way with Dolph Ziggler. I think he could win this Money in the Bank briefcase. I have him at number 1 for a reason. I'm going to keep him at number 1 for a reason. And that's just the bottom line because Chase Oliver says so. And yes, I'm stealing Stone Cold's catchphrase. Anyways, guys, that's my power rankings. Description box down below for the full rankings as well. And also in the description box will be the power rankings for the WWE Heavyweight Championship match if you haven't seen that one yet. Thank you guys for watching. Comment down below your power rankings for the WWE Money in the Bank briefcase match. And also, you know, if there's any update on Bad News Barrett and you're watching this video, please comment down below that update. Tell me if Bad News Barrett's okay or not, so that way I know to change around my power rankings. Thank you guys very, very much for watching this video. Check out my Twitter at ChaseOliver68 and check out my website, chillinwithchase.com. I'm out of here, guys. Enjoy your day. Tomorrow I got the Q&A, so make sure you send in your questions, and then I got the podcast with Alan talking about MMA. And I'm just rhyming to end this video. Peace!